Okay, hello and welcome to my Identity V gameplay of Dream Witch's skin Serpent. So, I want to talk a little bit about the skin first, and then I will talk about the gameplay and what's happening currently in the gameplay. So, this was the first Dream Witch skin I ever got that was A tier, and I didn't get S tiers until Envoy. When Envoy came out, that was the first time I got an S tier for Dreamwitch because I wasn't playing during the Jinjito crossover or Viet. And when I joined Identity V, this was the only Dreamwitch skin that was in the game because Picture Girl and Tomie had already left the shop and Viet was limited S tier. This is the only high tier Dreamwitch skin in the game. And as someone who was a fan of Dreamwitch since I got the game, I knew I needed to get this skin, so I made it my guaranteed A tier on the Essence, and I just kept practicing and using Dreamwitch until I finally got this skin, and I was so happy because, like I said, this is my first high tier Dreamwitch skin. I was like, man, I look so cool with my skin. One of the things I love about this skin is how Yima has like a normal skin color, and when I first started playing the game in 2020 and there wasn't that little Dreamwitch warning and she wasn't as popular, like there were times when I came up on survivors who couldn't get a cipher, and I think they genuinely thought that I was one of them because I was like a worker bee, or I wasn't a worker bee, I was like a spider, and they were like worker bees. And I don't know if that still happens because I haven't been low tier in a while. I mean, actually, I'm a hound on my survivor account, but I haven't been under tier 3 for hunter in a while, so I don't know how like the very beginner noobs how they would react to seeing this skin in the game, if they would think it's one of them or if they would know something's off at this point. But I think that's really funny that that would happen. And I also want to talk about like how much I like each skin in my videos, but listen, I love this skin and I love all Dreamwitch skins. There is not a single Dreamwitch skin that I will say I do not like. I love all Dreamwitch skins. But if I had to pick a favorite A tier, I feel like it would probably be this one, just because of pure like nostalgia of it being my first Dreamwitch A tier. And I also just really think it's cool that she has like this kind of like ancient Aztec Mayan like goddess thing going on here, which I also really thought was cool in Viet and Reverse Judgment, was that there were like skins from like ancient civilizations, you know? And I thought it fits really well with Dreamwitch because she's a goddess who was supposedly around since the beginning of time, and it would make sense that she could be around while these people and civilizations were existing, and there would be people who were worshiping her. Like, I think it just adds another layer to her lore if we look at the skins this way. Obviously, Reverse Judgment is Koei skin, but like with Viet and Serpent, I think it kind of does. Like, especially Viet because that essence was made for her. Like, it feel like it adds a whole nother layer of Dreamwitch lore. But on to the gameplay. So, I was a little rusty in this game, I'm not gonna lie. Because I hadn't played in a while, like a few months. I took off of Identity V. So I was a tiny bit rusty, but the thing with Dreamwitch is that I know her so well that I'll never like be able to play Dreamwitch. Like I'll never not be able to play Dreamwitch unless like it's 80s in the future. But like I can take off a year and I'm confident I could still come back and give me a couple games to warm up, and then I'll go back to getting wins with Dreamwitch, especially if my tiers dropped, which it did. So I was like a low proc while I was playing this. I'm almost Saber now. I've been doing some ranking, so we're getting there, but we're not there yet. But I I think I was doing okay in this game. Um I was kind of hesitating to chase. Like, I don't know why I always don't want to use my patroller. And you probably will watch a lot of these next, if you watch any of these next videos part of the series, you'll probably be thinking, she uses her patroller so much. And it's because I didn't when I was coming back in and warming up. And then I was like, why am I not using my patroller? Like, I'm not catching anybody. They're just kiting me. This is embarrassing. And I did lose a few games getting gameplay for this, and it was kind of embarrassing. But there were some really bad ping spikes happening that caused me to just like actually get obliterated. Like I had a perfect tie situation. I was kind of lagging a bit that game, but I was gonna get a tie. And then I literally just had red ping, and the survivor was, like, walking through walls and stuff, and he kited me to dungeon. I literally had blink, like, and he didn't even have any ability on me. He's like a survivor who didn't even have an ability, but I couldn't catch him because I was at the speed of a snail due to the lag. Now, I don't know if the audio is gonna be matching up, like, 100% with his gameplay, because the way that this program I'm using to edit my video right now is working is that it's not letting me watch the gameplay while I'm voicing over it, so I have another tab open of the gameplay, but I don't know if it's completely synced. But right now I have the first officer on chair. The patient is dead. There's one cipher remaining. Toy merchant and composer are injured, which is good. And what's good about this is that I have this person over by toy merchant. So even if the composer were to pop the cipher after she got knocked, first officer would still be dead because they're too far for either of them to rescue. And then I would just have to find one of them and I could still get a win. But it looks like composer didn't want to do that and he instead ran away, probably looking for dungeon, which is fair. This was a quick match. All the other games in this series are ranked games except for the last envoy, the second envoy match, which was another quick match, and just because rank closed and I was like, I only have one more game to get for the series, might as well just get it in a quick match, which is funny because and I didn't mean to set the toy merger down here because I played all of these games on PC and I usually play on my iPad. And I got the keybinds mixed up and I set the toy merchant down when I meant to chair her and I felt so stupid. But here I was camping the dungeon like a try hard. And there is a part of me every time I camp dungeon that feels bad. But, and also it was a quick match, so it's really not that serious. But I felt like camping it anyways. It just feels good to get a 4-man. I mean, like, what are they gonna do? But what it looks like he did was tap that cipher. Now, Identity V added this new thing since I haven't played in a few months, where if there's only 2 survivors left, like, survivors periodically get displayed, and I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm not sure. I mean, I guess it's, like, to prevent survivors from hiding, because there have been times when they just, like, hide and heal each other. I've seen people do that, but me personally, I never did that, so I didn't really care, but the composer was decoding. I didn't see him decoding until just now, apparently. And I see him heading for dungeon, but, like, what is he gonna do? I'm camping the dungeon. Sorry. Sorry, Frederick. Yeah. I'm just watching this back, I was just being a tryhard. But sometimes you have to be a tryhard in Identity. Except I didn't have to be a tryhard here, I just wanted to be a tryhard. But you know what? Sometimes it just makes you feel good to get that 4-man. Here he took the catapult. He said, "Siren, flying." I'm not a singer, guys, please. Don't make fun of me in the comments for that. Here's just a classic run around the pallets, try to chase him. See, if you look, I didn't have any traits, so well, it didn't have a trait up, it was on cooldown. So I didn't have patrol. I had blink on, but it was on cooldown, so but I ended up getting him because he ran around that thing and I got close to him. So then I leech him, pick him up, and the game is already done because there's a chair right there. So yeah, that was probably like that was a good game. I'd say that was like my second game back in. And at this point I had auto aim on because I forgot to turn it off on the computer. So okay, so this gameplay I did, it was a quick match, and I did some very stupid things very early on, and you're about to witness that right now. So I found the archer, and I was like, I don't think I've ever chased an archer first before, but you know, there's a first time for everything. And then I was like, let me turn off the green light. Little did I know that there was a cooldown. And so I was like, that's annoying. And then Yema was up there at the stairs. I thought she was going to follow me and come down. So then I was like, are you serious? And I look over and she's removing her leech. And I was like, oh, but I still tried to turn it off and it wasn't working because it was still on the cooldown. And I was just like, all I want to do is turn off this roller coaster station thing. But it wasn't letting me. So I'm like, okay, it's whatever. I'll chase her with her leech. Patroller's not even up. She hits me with that. I had to wait, you know, because I was about to get
I don't know, heart attack or whatever. And so I decide I chase her. I somehow hit her there, and Spawn's still at the thing, but I'm going to turn it off. Here's where I was literally spamming Alt and Q, and it wasn't working. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? Like, what am I doing wrong? I don't understand. I'm spamming the button. I was starting to get really frustrated. I was like, what's going on? By the way, guys, I'm being dramatic and I'm acting. I'm not actually crying right now, and I was not crying in the game. I was just really confused. I just like to be dramatic. But to my surprise, she did not go in the priestess portal. So I was like, okay, period. So I placed her follower outside the window, and I was like, Spawn's coming. Plot twist, Spawn got stunned by Norton, but it's okay because she was still on her way. I managed to down the archer here. By the way, shout out to this archer skin, very pretty skin. So now I'm like, I need to break this portal before it causes me some problems. I figured maybe I could try to get a hit on the priestess, but it wasn't happening, and I had to pick her up. And I was like, okay, Norton's gonna be here, right? He's gonna try to stun me. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be convenient if I could just toss her to the other follower? Drop her out the window and just catch her with my other follower. That would be really convenient. And then I see the cowboy and I'm like, oh no! But he missed somehow. Maybe they just knew the cowboy. Like I said, it's just a quick match. So I hit her, she portals in. I'm able to get the instant down because of Berserker and the cooldown. But the cowboy's still here. I thought for sure I was going to hit him, but he did a flywheel and then he power stunned me. And so I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll just go pick her up. But I switched back to the follower. I forgot that cowboy stuns are really long for whatever reason. I don't know. And I accidentally set her down instead of cheering her. And I was like, bro, what is this game? Because at this point, I'm thinking there's no way I'm winning, okay? 2 ciphers remaining. And then she just gets insta-rescued by the priestess who was hiding behind the chair. And I'm like, there's a priestess here and a cowboy here, both helping her, and the prospector was not that far away. I managed to down her though. So now you're thinking, oh great, perfect. It looks like the archer is going to get chaired and it'll be all nice, all happy, all jolly. Well, if you thought that, then you're like me. But if you thought that, you thought wrong. Because I tried to get a hit on the cowboy, it didn't work, but I'm like, okay, I'll just pick her up, send the follower over there, and then distract the cowboy with my body. The prospector was there. And I switched the time, but I missed the hit, and then I got shot, and I only had 50, so I tried to go around and get a hit off of her. It didn't work, because Norton magneted me, and then they went to this pallet, and he flywheeled, and it was just a lot. And so I was like, great. This is not a good state to be in. Mind you, my central body is on the top floor of this building. And they go into a portal. I'm like, seriously? I low-key probably could have hit that Norton there, but I decided to switch modus operandi or whatever and go to the cipher that I could see that they're decoding. So I go over. Prospector and Cowboy and Fiona are decoding. So I spawn the leech. And I bite our good friend, the archer, in the ankles, break the portal, and now everybody is here. Fiona vaults the window and blocks the archer, which is kind of funny. I can't even lie. And I try to get a hit on the cowboy. I don't know why I just kept not correctly estimating my hitbox in this. So I realized that there's a magnet here, but somehow I didn't pick it up. I honestly don't know how that I didn't pick it up that first time, but I'm able to drop her in time after knocking the priestess, and the cowboy again misses his balloon. So now the archer is out of the game, and I'm able to down the prospector here. Terror shock off the window. Cowboy's still here, but the cipher is not really close to being primed. So I take the back way. I don't want to go out the front because I know the cowboy's looking with his lasso. And I go ahead and chair Fiona in this area. I switch back to my spawn follower. I see the trail, so I know the cowboy is here. And I decide to just go after him. He does another flywheel. Then he uses his lasso, and the prospector gets up, but it blocks the window for a little bit for the cowboy, so I'm able to down him. I see he's going to rescue, so I quickly leech him, and then I switch to spawn. He was so close to getting that rescue off. I bet he was really angry. So then I switch back to, now I know Norton can't self-heal, so I'm just going to chair the cowboy. And at this point, I know I've won. But I'm thinking to myself, what was that? Like, what was that? What was that game? It's games like these that make me question why I play Identity V. Because for a second there, I really thought it was over for me. When the prospector got the archer out, I thought it was over for me, but it wasn't. But anyways, that's all the gameplay I have for Serpent. Like I said, that's all I have for you, so thank you so much for watching, and comment below what the first costume you ever got for your favorite character was.